Hi everyone, my name is Dahlia. Welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be doing a tag video and it's called the Reading Habits Book Tag, and it basically asks questions concerning your reading habits, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It's like a typical tag, and it's actually pretty popular on BookTube, and it's definitely far from new, but I really like this tag and I always love watching it, and so I thought this would be a perfect way to share with you some of my reading habits. And so, yeah, the creator of this book tag is called The Book Jazz, if you want to go check that out. I'll also leave a link down for the original video available if you need to go watch that. And yeah, so the first question is, do you have a certain place at home for reading? And I would say that I usually tend to read either on my bed, at the kitchen table, depending if I'm reading at breakfast, because I usually like to do that. And another place I like to read is the sofa in our living room. So I'm pretty mobile when I'm reading. Number 2 is a bookmark or a random piece of paper. And I'm going to have to go with bookmark, though I do tend to use random bits of paper very rarely, but it happens. But I do like to collect bookmarks, and I do like to use those bookmarks. So yeah. Number 3 is, can you just stop reading, or do you have to stop after a chapter or a certain amount of pages? And for me personally, I like to put my bookmark at the end of every chapter, and I like to at least get to the end of the chapter before I stop reading. Though usually as soon as I get to that point, I'll move the bookmark to the end of the next chapter, and I'll keep going until I feel like I've read enough, basically. Though I know that some people, if they do that, they feel the need to just stop reading once they get to that bookmark place, and so I know it doesn't work for everyone. Number 4 is, do you eat or drink while reading? And I think I drink more while reading than eat. I like to drink hot chocolate or coffee or tea while I'm reading. Typically at my dining table, where I can just keep the mug in front of me and I can just sit down and have my book with me. Eating, I do it, but not as often. I try to do it during breakfast, but usually I will just eat my food first, then read while I have my coffee there with me. So I will stay at the breakfast table for a little while. That's like my time to read, and yeah. So number 5 is multitasking, music or TV while reading. And I'm gonna have to say no, because if I have TV or music that I'm also listening to or watching, I just can't multitask. My brain can't do that. However, if it is like TV that is playing in the background that one of my other family members is watching and I happen to be in the room, then it's not the same. I can read because I'm not focused on that, and so it's different. Number 6 is one book at a time or several at once. And I do like to read several books at once because it makes me feel like I'm getting a lot done. I usually like to read one physical book at a time, along with maybe like an ebook or an audiobook, maybe all 3 at once, maybe just 2 at once. So yeah, I like to have different formats with me. It also makes books more portable that way, so that way I can always manage to have a book on me in one form or another. The next question is reading at home or everywhere. And I tend to read just everywhere. I can literally read wherever I go, whether it's on the bus, because I do take public transportation from work, which I find is a perfect time for reading. At work when I'm on my breaks, at school in between classes, at other people's houses when we're visiting and I find some time to be alone for a little bit, I would like to read. Things like that. I can really read anywhere except for the car, because I get car sick very easily. So unfortunately, if I'm on a long sort of road trip, I cannot read in the car. But I can read on an airplane, so there's that. 8, reading out loud or silently in your head. Honestly, I like to do both. I read silently in my head for the most part, like most people do, but randomly I will start reading out loud, even if there's like people around me, mostly in my house. Like, I'll just be reading and then suddenly I get to the next chapter and I'm like, I'm gonna read this chapter out loud, and I have no reason to do it, I just like to. maybe just to like do the voices of the characters or whatever. Maybe I'm weird, but whatever. I also like to read to my dog. So sometimes my family members will come to the kitchen where I'm sitting with my dog and they'll find me reading out loud to her. So yeah, I really do both. Breaking the spine or keeping it like new? So this is question number 10. And honestly, I don't really care if I break the spine. I do like my books to look pretty, but realistically, if I'm reading all the time, I'm taking these books with me like everywhere I go. They're not gonna end up in perfect, pristine condition when I'm done with it. So it's fine if the spine gets a little damaged. 11. Do you write in your books? And the answer to this is yes. I don't write in every single book because I don't always like have that in mind to do, but I do have books where I like love to write in it, and I have many books that I have written in or even drawn pictures or, you know, written on the margins or underlined or whatever. I do love to annotate books. Part of this comes from me being an English major. I just love to write in books. I love to put my own thoughts and feelings onto the page along with the words of the author. I think it's great. And also when my mom comes to read my books, she actually doesn't mind that I've written in them. She finds it actually very fascinating to see what I've underlined or what I've written and to see what I found personally to be fascinating. And she's also like, you know, underlined things, and so when I reread those books I can like see, and she's the only person I would allow to write into my books, because if anyone else did that when I let them borrow my books, it would not be okay. And number 12 is, who do you tag? Honestly, I will tag anyone. This tag is just so old and it's been out there for so long. If you want to do it, I totally think you should, because it's a great way for people to learn about your reading habits. But if not, then I think it's just fun to watch in general. So yeah, thank you for watching, and if you relate to any of this stuff or you have your own thoughts, I feel free to comment and let me know. Anyways, have a good day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.